If you're struggling to get your KDP book to rank on Amazon and aren't seeing the sales you were expecting, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to reveal the real reason your KDP book doesn't rank on Amazon and show you exactly what you can do to fix it. I'm going to break down a real book listing from our community, highlight the mistakes holding it back, and I'll walk you through the changes you can make to start improving your visibility, get found more by readers, and ultimately boost your sales on Amazon. Alright, so let's get right into this video. And just quickly, in case you're new to the channel, Cleo and I have sold over 240,000 books between our different accounts. We also have a free authors Facebook group with 230,000 members in it. And with our self-publishing Titans tools, we have helped over 300,000 people publish their books on Amazon. So that was just a quick thing about us, and let's check the first book here. So here we can see with our self-publishing Titans Chrome extension that this book has a bestseller rank of 3 million, which means that this book is basically not getting any sales, as we can also see in our daily sales and royalty estimates. So let's see what we can do to help this author out. So the title is The Self-Made Stand-Up. So that's a nice and clean title. Unfortunately, we don't have a subtitle here, which could have had some good keywords in it to help this book rank in the organic search results. So that's definitely one missed opportunity, which could be made up in the 7 backend keyword slots, but it would have been great to also have that in a title. That could have also helped you with higher click-through rates and higher conversions. But let's see what else we can do to improve this listing. So let's take a look at the cover here. The Self-Made Stand-Up, your guide to mastering stand-up comedy and life. So here we have a period after comedy, but then not after life, so there's a slight discrepancy. And I would also say that the text here is a little bit hard to read. It doesn't really stand out from the background, especially when we're looking at it at a small font. And then here we see a microphone, which could kind of suit. And I'm just going to use our Titans Chrome extension with our Titans AI analysis to see what our AI says about this cover. And in case you're not familiar with this Chrome extension, this is our brand new one, which you can get on a Chrome store just by typing in self-publishing Titans and installing this one. And if you had our previous extensions installed, you can uninstall those and just have that one because this is all in one. And this has all of our future updates and future add-ons added to it. So this is the one you want to have. So here under improvement, it says, while the title is prominent, the subtitle smaller, thin font can be hard to read. So exactly what I was also saying, especially at thumbnail size. That was my concern. Also, the author's name at the bottom is very small and low contrast, making it less noticeable. I also agree with that, especially with the gray lines going through it, but that's not a huge thing. And then under opportunity, it says enhancing the subtitle and author's name readability by increasing contrast and simplifying font could improve clarity. Additionally, incorporating a subtle visual cue that hints at personal growth or mastery could strengthen the book's promise as a guide, making it more compelling to potential buyers. And the other thing I would suggest myself is just really making this more like a comedy kind of book. Maybe we can have some laughing people or a comedian with the laughing audience in the background or something like that. Just the microphone alone, I don't think really makes it look like comedy. It does communicate stand-up or something with an audience, but I think that could just be slightly improved. And one thing you could consider is just hiring somebody on Fiverr to make this cover change for you. You can probably find somebody for $10 to $20, and I think that'd be really worth it. But let's take a look at your description. So you have a little intro line, and then you go straight into the bullet points, which is good. One small change that we can make is that I would probably have a space between the first line and this one right here. And instead of having about 10 bullet points, I would make this into 5 bullet points and either try combining some of them, or if you can't, get rid of some of those. And then once you delete it, you can turn it into paragraphs or something like that. But with Amazon, it's just best to always have 5 bullet points. That's kind of the sweet spot. And then the last thing you can also have here is just a simple call to action after this line, asking people to buy your book now. Just a slight improvement. So now I'm looking for your A+ content. So I don't see any A+ content. So that would be another missed opportunity for your A+ content. I would definitely recommend having some pictures of a crowd laughing, have an image of yourself on stage, or at least someone else on stage. You can also have an image of someone reading your book, like your dream target buyer. You can also have a quote of you from your book or a tip, just anything that provides more value and really just makes a potential buyer want to buy your book. So I think that would be another improvement. Let's look at your category. categories. So self-help, psychology, humor, and self-help. So I would definitely change that. I would find better suited categories because self-help has nothing to do with stand-up comedy, at least not in the keyword sense. So this is also something that can confuse the search algorithm, but the categories is more about similar kinds of books and even more so about the Amazon SEO factor, because Amazon does use the categories for rankings. So if they think your book is about self-help, but it's actually more about becoming a stand-up comedian, then it doesn't quite suit. So I would find better suited categories for sure. I think that would also help your book. And then we have one review here, which is good. And luckily it's a 5-star, but I would try and get at least a couple more reviews. Having a few reviews is much better than just one. So I would try to definitely work on that. What I do like here is that you have a good image of yourself, which is great. And you have a short description, which is good. And here we can see the review. Okay, so definitely want to change the categories. Definitely want to add A+ content, slight improvements on your description, and I'd make a couple changes on your cover. And then for your 7 backlink keywords, I'll definitely make sure that we have really nice long tail keywords that are actually Amazon search suggestions. And you can get those from the Amazon search bar here with the drop down. And our Chrome extension will give you much more as well. So I hope that helps you and I wish you the best of luck. And let's check the next one here. So here we have a book that has never gotten a single sale, which is unfortunate, and obviously no current sales. So let's see why. Just looking at the cover, I already feel like that's the main reason, but let's start off with the title here. So Dear Stress. So looking at this, I'm not the biggest fan of having all caps when the rest is not in all caps. It just looks slightly less professional and slightly less clean. So that's probably another reason we're not getting sales. We're breaking up, but I do like the sound of it. So kind of a little bit playful, so that's good. 90-day guided journal for stress relief, self-care, and mindful living. So the subtitle, I'm a much bigger fan of the way it looks. We also have guided journal as a keyword. We have stress relief, which is a good keyword, self-care, and mindful living. So those are all good words to have. So I guess your main long tail keyword is guided journal for stress relief. So I'm just going to quickly put that into our Chrome extension. And the way this part of the extension works is you type something in and then our Chrome extension will open up. And then here we can see more suggestions. We can see estimated monthly search volume. We can see how many competitors there are for each of these keywords. We can see the demand and the opportunity scores. And with these, obviously, the higher they are, the better. And 9 would be the highest and 0 would be the lowest. So guided journal for mental health, that has an opportunity of 7, demand of 6. That's looking pretty good. Guided journal for men with anger, that would be interesting. Opportunity of 7. Guided journal for anxiety and stress, opportunity of 9. So that would probably be better keywords than this one, at least as an exact match. So that could have been a slight improvement. We always want to make sure that we use Amazon search suggestions as the keywords and not just kind of made up keywords that sound good. And then also having them as exact match keywords. That's really important for organic search rankings and the SEO. So just a slight tip, let's look at the cover here. So Dear Stress, it's kind of really flat on the design, which I don't really like. We're breaking up. So here now we have both in caps. Here we have all lowercase. So it's also just inconsistent with the title. And then stress relief and self-care guided journal kind of randomly placed just down below. And the other thing I don't like on this cover is just the solid white line. For me, there would be no reason to not continue the background image. It would probably look slightly nicer, but I would probably replace this entire image. I would restart with the entire design. I would add some 3D elements or something to make the title feel a little bit apart from the background image. It's not so flat looking. The other thing I would try and figure out is how you can incorporate some kind of icons or images that communicate stress relief or self-care or mindfulness. That would definitely help you get higher click-through rates, because if they don't like the cover, they're already not going to buy it, especially if it's a journal that they would use every single day. So with journals, it's really important that they like the cover, because that's obviously what they'll be opening and using every single day. So let's look at your descriptions. Probably the most spaced description I've ever seen. So we have empty bullet points. We have 2 or 3 lines between each of these bullet points, and we have bullet points, not really the most common practice, and I'm not sure why it's spaced like that. And it also feels like it was written with AI due to all of these icons. So it's fine using AI for descriptions, but then I would always recommend that you rewrite it yourself. Just make it your own style and make it sound a little bit more human and look a little bit more human. And then here, definitely, I would only have 5 bullet points, not 20 or whatever that is. And then the other thing is that we want to make sure that we see all 5 bullet points before we click on the read more button, because the bullet points are the most important part in your description. So you want a buyer or a potential buyer to see them without having to click anything else. So I'd put it just below this line. And then all of these other bullet points, I would either combine them or delete them and just come up with a couple paragraphs after that. And that would definitely help you. And then here we don't have any A+ content. So that's also a missed opportunity. So overall, unfortunately, I feel like this is just a really bad listing overall. I think the cover needs work, the title needs work, the description needs work. We don't have any A+ content. We have no reviews. We have no sales. So overall, this is like a good example of what not to do. The good news is that probably from here on out, all your books will be better, especially if you follow this advice. And I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just really trying to drive home that this listing is really not working. And if you continue publishing like that, it will only waste your precious, valuable time. And obviously your time is valuable, and obviously you want your time to pay off into results. So we really have to have a really good title with exact match keywords in the subtitle. We need to have a high quality cover, especially for low content books, because they're so easy to make. And then we need to have a clean description that doesn't have all this empty space with the 5 bullet points at the top. We definitely want to have A+ content and then reviews. So if you do all of that, I think you'll start seeing better results. It might take a few books for you to really get the hang of it, but keep practicing. But really try to make each cover and each book and each listing better as you publish and do more. So I do wish you the best of luck. Just one more final tip here is you can also use our Titans AI. We have a whole analysis score, and you can see here that your listing only got a score of 32 out of 100. So this is one of the lowest we've seen. So you can also work with that. You can see your competition. You can look at the cover analysis. You can look at the title analysis and the rest. And that can also be your kind of like your personal coach. But I would be willing to look at your next book. So if you want to make all of these improvements and changes, please feel free to submit your book again. And then I would love to continue helping you. I think it'd be not only helpful for you, but also for other people. So let's check one more book here. So here we have a book from France, which has a bestseller rank of 78,000. And one thing to keep in mind with other countries is that 78,000 for America would be really, really good. But for France, that's not as good because overall the French market is a lot smaller. But obviously we do have a win here in the fact that someone is getting sales. But let's see what we can do to help this person get maybe to the top 10 or even the first spot in this subcategory. So let's look at this title. So I'm using the Google Chrome translations. So this translation is going to be close, but might not be perfect. And then the same goes for the rest of the listing here. So it says my first book of Islam, Children's First Steps in Faith. So overall, I think that's really clean. I like the title is rather short. The only thing I see missing here is that's the main keyword. Like what is the main keywords that someone is typing in? So we definitely want to make sure we have that in the 7 backend keywords. So looking at the cover, I like that you included one of the most holy things of the Islam religion. I like that you show some people there that represent that religion as well. The colors look quite good. The only thing I'd probably change here is the amount of text that's right here. That's kind of taken away from the cover design. It looks like we have the author name, but I'm kind of guessing that this is not all important. So I'll probably get rid of all of these 5 lines right here and just keep the text on top and on the bottom. That would probably look much cleaner overall. And then the other thing you could do with this empty spot is maybe have another symbol or icon. I think that could be quite good. Let's look at your description. So your description is really long, which is nice. So here we have the 5 pillars of Islam. I guess that could be your bullet points, in which case I would probably just put that right below here since there are no other bullet points. But other than that, it looks fine. Let's look at your A+ content. So I like this A+ content, looks quite clean overall. What I don't really like is that we have blue background image and a blue cover, so it kind of blends slightly too much. So maybe what we could do is have a different blue like the one here, which is a little bit lighter. So I think the book would stand out a bit more. That would be a slight improvement, I feel like, for the first image, but overall definitely good. Here we can see you have some people reading the book, but what I don't like is that this person is cut off. I feel like there's no real reason that this has to be cut off, so I'd probably fix that. And I like that you show the book interior, but what I don't like here is that you took a 3D book image and then kind of place your flat page over that. So it doesn't look quite clean. I would probably just use some book mockup generator to create that for you, so it fully looks like one image. And I think that would be a nice improvement. Let's continue looking here. So here we have another image. Same thing, we have a nice 3D book, but then we just copied and pasted the image over that. So I would fix that for sure. But I guess these lifestyle images are good. Looking at this one here, same thing. The only thing I don't understand here is why we have someone playing with a cat and someone crying. I feel like these images here kind of made more sense. And this made more sense for this kind of book. I just don't see how this relates to that book. I'm obviously not familiar with what this book is all about, but I just don't feel like this really suits, so I'd probably just change that. But overall, I think your A+ content was good and clean. These are just improvements. Let's look at your categories. So Islamic documentaries, Muhammad and the Prophet of Islam, and Islam for Children. So it looks like you did good work on that. And you do have one review, which is great. So overall, I think your listing is good. I think the main thing to improve, since you're already getting sales, is just improving your 7 backend keywords potentially. Since there's nothing we can do with the title now, I would improve the text in the cover here, slight improvements with your description. And I think if you make those changes, that should help you. So I hope that this was helpful. If you want more daily free training and videos, make sure to subscribe, and leaving comments down below is always nice for us. And yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.